All right, so I wanted to do this video, more gaming videos. I talked about this specifically on this video. I'm going to be discussing a game that I play a lot competitively, and that is NBA 2K. And by competitively, I'm saying shits on the line, team-based, 5v5, pro-am. I'll get into a little bit of that here soon, but I play games just to be chilling, having some fun. This isn't one of them. And considering that how they market this game, it's understandably so. They got the NBA 2K League now. Things are being emphasized about just the competition element. It's supposed to be a competitive basketball simulation game. And I'm going to talk about the problems in NBA 2K19, what I think should happen with this franchise, certainly going forward, and going into NBA 2K20, and we know a little bit about what's being announced, and I'm specifically going to be emphasizing the competitive play. So you can include some my team stuff in there as well, but pro-am, my career, I'll even exclude the park because that shit is arcadey as hell. I'm talking about what is supposed to be competitive and what I play the most and what I want to see out of this game. Let me first say this, and I play a lot of FIFA too, and though that has individuals within it that are a lot of fluff, just they're content creators and will spend minutes not saying a whole lot, bunch of fucking goofballs. They have way more individuals that are critical, that analyze it, that take this shit serious as a competitive game, and they have that expectation. Now, EA, you can say what you will about the direction that they're going in and if they're fucking shit up. But I'm just saying the communities is way different from the NBA 2K community, and really there's only a few of those guys that I will watch, and I'm like, okay, they're giving me some information that I can respect. I know they want a competitive game, but it's a whole lot more motherfuckers that are just straight fluff, goofy ass. I can't understand. You ain't saying motherfucking a goddamn thing for the first 10 minutes of your video. And unfortunately, those are guys that, because they're top content creators, they're going to get invited to these community days. Not just that, these are people that they're going to be paying attention to, and rightfully so. If I'm a developer and I see that these people have a following, I'm going to be paying attention to what they say about the game. But does that necessarily make the game better? I guess that's up for argument. So let's speak on, and this is why I want to start talking more about this, because I think there's a lot I can offer in terms of breaking some of this shit down. But let's get to the nitty gritty. I don't give a shit about the cosmetics of this game, right? That's why it annoys the shit out of me. I'm researching what's going down with NBA 2K20, and I'm seeing all these people talk about haircuts and tattoos and shit. Like, with all the broken shit that it takes place as far as this game is concerned, the fact that we're discussing, or people are discussing, those cosmetics is fucking, to me, incredible, considering how fucking unbalanced this game was and how broken this game was. And believe it or not, it was growth from NBA 2K18, I would argue, to NBA 2K19 in elements of competitiveness, but it was still a disaster in terms of its execution. And again, I clocked so many hours on this game. As I argue, certainly in this lab, I played this more than FIFA, maybe. But believe it or not, which is FIFA, that's been my most played game since forever. But we got the 2K League. It's supposed to be competitive. I don't care about the cosmetics. Now, when going into, and so let me say this, because there are things that they seem to have focused on that are going to make the game a little more dynamic. And that is, we know with the character creation, you're going to have more unique builds. They got rid of the whole archetype system. For better or for worse, I do hope that we don't run into this demigod shit but it looks like there's going to be more unique builds, and as it should be, if it's executed well, as it should be, depending on what mode you're playing, your character has to be created to suit your playing style, not for those that are going to be abusing the game the most, which is what we seem to run into last year. Now, there's going to be builds that maybe work for the park, which is why I'm not talking about this. Some of those really offensive builds that are going to work for that arcadey shit. But if we're going to talk about skill gaps, then that's how it should be. Playing styles, and people are creating their own unique characters that more so fit their playing style and what they're trying to do in terms of execution, not having the same builds that are out there that are cheesed, you know what I mean, and that people are abusing the game, which is unfortunately what it turned into when you consider not just the lockdowns, But with this the fact that there were certain builds that just could do whatever the fuck they want, and there wasn't really a counter to it. The passing is the worst part of the game. You couldn't put the ball in the air. So this is why you saw, which shouldn't be like this because this isn't simulation. People don't really run zones like that. They may run matchup zones here and there, but for long extended periods of time, people don't run zones. But you saw some of the best teams on the Pro-Am running zones because it was a cheese and there was passing issues. Like you couldn't really put the ball in the air. You fucking could do the jump pass or the overhead pass with triangle, and the bitch was a line drive. You couldn't put the ball in there. You could see somebody's open. Let me just float it in the air. He chest passes right into the back of somebody's head or right to somebody. And if they have a lockdown or if they have any build, they're playing these passing lanes with these zones, there's not anything that you could really do with it, no matter how good of a playmaker your character was. And that's not realistic. And again, that's the cheesy part of it when you consider the passing lanes and the passing. I would argue that the passing in this past year's game was the worst part of the fucking game. Now, there's other elements, but the passing, I think if that was just, it made sense. Say if triangle, which is being reported, I believe what Mike Wang said is that it puts a little more air, whatever that means. If you could do that, for example, it would counteract that. Like the fact that people are able to just sit in the fucking zone and not even get abused. There's certain ways that, my Pro-Am team was pretty solid and we could break it down with some elements, but it should have been even worse, just like it would be in real life in the NBA if you sat in a zone. But with the passing, it's so bad, it was only so much that you could do. So that needs to be addressed. And I will say that, again, doubling back on the point that I mentioned, I love the idea, and if you haven't, I'm pretty sure, if you haven't seen, there's so many videos out there of people talking about what's, the builder, right? The My Player builder. The demo comes out in a few days, so you'll be able to see that. And I love it. I don't get me wrong. This has a chance to be a very good game, and it has a chance to be a very competitive game. And we're going to see a lot more unique. Because again, you have that option. It's not primary, secondary. It's okay. Build it out. Now, again, I hope it's not a demigod situation where you get these certain characters that can just do whatever the fuck they want. I don't want to run into that. But the fact that you can more so make something that seems to be more suited for the playing style that you guys have, I thoroughly enjoy that element of it and that creation. I think they're knocking it out the park with that. They've supposedly added a new skill gap with the dribbling, and that goes into the next point that I want to bring up, in that the whole behind the back spams. Everybody's gonna come up with their videos either regardless to say that, all right, well, you do this, you'll create so much space, you'll be able to do what you want, and it looks like you're gonna get a big time fatigue hit this year, which is a good thing. I'll say if there's some good things. Now, when I play it, if it's not executed, I'm gonna tell you. But from what I've read, there are some good things that they're discussing, and that is the dribbling. You're gonna get a fatigue hit, but there's also more dynamic terms in terms of dribbling, the stop and go. I know there was a blow by thing that a lot of the community day guys were saying that's a problem, and I believe Mike Wang was like, all right, we're gonna address that. But there's different sorts of dribbling. Again, it's a little more dynamic, which is better because it makes for that whole idea, which should be part of it, and that's the strategic planning when it comes to actually building a team, a Pro-Am team. And that is that you have a style that you want to, just like more so in real life, a style that you have to, you want to play towards. And each player within it has their little, their role in that they play in it. And I love that. So if they can execute it, it has a chance. But again, it goes back to the fact that the gameplay itself has to be, the passing has to be fixed. The sluggish sort of, which animation based and which almost an input delay sometimes with certain things, stilling and all of that, which hopefully is corrected and it's a lot more smooth and it's less input delay in that element. But that's a gameplay thing, right? So while the character creation is a thing that I'm enjoying, I've read the gameplay blog. It sounds like there's some things, like such as the passing, that I wanted to emphasize that are getting looked at. that are getting addressed. And even with the character builder, we're going to be able to create more dynamic characters that more so fits the style that we want to have. All that shit is good. But we have to emphasize the fact that if the gameplay isn't corrected, this game, all of this other shit, this cosmetic shit is irrelevant. They did that seemingly to create more just you want different types of builds. You want uniqueness, and that's what it's about. Not every player plays the same. They don't dribble the same. No matter what they emphasize or what they're good at, they play differently, which looks to be what they're trying to emphasize. So we're gonna get more, different types of players that are out there, and that shit is great. But the gameplay itself, if it's not executed, which I want them to emphasize, and they won't, so as long as you get yes men and you get people that can't really they're not articulate enough to be like, look, this is a problem. This needs to be addressed, and this is why. Which is why I want to start commentating a little more on like this game, certainly because I plan to play it competitively, coming up. Because I'll be able to identify, I feel like I'm going to be able to identify and be like, hey, man, this needs to be corrected. This is why. This is an alternative, and so forth. I don't give a fuck about I don't want to, create a player that's just like some guy, YouTuber making a video. All of that shit is going to be out. All of that's cool. I don't care about the haircuts. I don't care about all the cosmetic shit, because at the end of the day, it's about competitive gameplay first and foremost, right? If the game is shit, and this goes for any game, doesn't matter. If the core gameplay is shit, all of the cosmetic stuff is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. And that's unfortunately what we've had last year. You could do a lot with your player cosmetically, which is whatever. And that's cool. Yeah, you want to be able to create a character that looks like you and, looks like you want them to look. I understand that. But it's not more all that cosmetic. I wouldn't give a damn if they left the cosmetic shit, if they didn't even touch it. They had the same damn haircut, same sleeves, same shoes, all of that shit. If they had that in next year's game, didn't even touch it, I wouldn't care. I would not give a fuck. This is what, hell, I've been the one have a video championing this idea that they shouldn't be coming out with 2K games every single year. So why would I care about that? Why would I give a damn about the cosmetic shit that's one thing we can look into if the gameplay is solid. But if the gameplay is shit and it's a cheese fest, and by cheat, that's a big thing. When you have people that are abusing, and as long as you allow them to do it, they're gonna do it. They're abusing the game mechanic. It's not about skill. It's not about having a high basketball IQ. This is what we're going into with FIFA as well. And we don't have people, it's like people are abusing the game, right? That's what a lot of gripes that people have, abusing the game. And it's not about breaking somebody down. You can break down, this is, again, going back to FIFA. You don't play FIFA, you won't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I'm using this as an example. You could break down a guy's team and play an ultimate team, and you're in a 1v1 situation with the keeper, and you can't score, but you can score 15 yards out the box, finesse shots. Like, that's a problem. It's the same with 2K, in that the issue is that people are cheesing the game, right? People are finding ways to abuse the mechanics. That requires no fucking skill at all. No basketball IQ. It's not, I ran a good play that, it required some basketball IQ to be able to execute. Therefore, it ended up with a basket. Or we had good rotational defense. Therefore, we got to stop. Like, that stuff is there. It comes and goes, which it shouldn't, if it's a competitive game, it shouldn't be like that. For the most part, we have people cheesing. I'm going to run back and forth with the screen shit. You know what I mean? I'm going to, and then just jack up a shot with a pure sharpshooter and knock the bitch down every fucking time. There's nothing you can do about it unless you, also abuse the fucking game. Like, that's not a skill. And if it was promoting itself as if it was a arcade game, like a fucking NBA Street, like it's arcade game, then I guess you could be like, whatever. But the fact that we have a 2K league now, The fact that it promotes itself as it's the simulation game, it's a competitive game, which in some aspects have been good. I've praised it in a little bit in terms of the direction that it's going. And even sometimes I had some fun playing it when we could play against guys that weren't trying to abuse the game. Even if we lost, I'm okay with that. I'm okay. If a guy's better than us, fine. If the team's better than us, that's whatever. You know, me and my bros tested this all the time. We'd be like, look, they just won. They outplayed us. But it's one thing to out-cheese us. You know what I mean? Because that requires zero skill. That just abuse the game mechanics. And people that like myself, I don't even want to fucking play like that, man. So that cheesy shit has to get removed to the game and has to get eliminated so we can make it more competitive and skill-based. It's a basketball game. It's supposed to be a simulation game. So not only just on a straight stick, you have an element to take into consideration from just the skill on being able to play the game, but also it has a strategy element in it, and that it is basketball, like with coaching and shit like that. You run plays, you do whatever, and at the pro-am level, I think that that's how it should be, and that should be emphasized. The slider should be as maxed out hard as they fucking can in the Hall of Fame. People not hitting shots, whatever, like, you know, you shoot stupid shots, fine, like, let them pay. Don't correct it to satisfy the people that just want to abuse the damn game or are mad because they're making bad basketball plays and want to be rewarded for those. Like, those folks kind of irritate the shit out of me, right? So I want a more competitive, balanced game that makes for a lot of creativity in terms of the team building element of it and the character building element, which looks like they're going in that direction considering what you're able to do with the creation of the characters. So that's a thing that seems like that I want it to be addressed, and they're addressing that, so give them credit for that. But the gameplay itself, I want to emphasize this, will not matter. The gameplay itself, if that's not corrected and addressed, then all that other shit doesn't matter. The character creation, the cosmetics, none of that shit matters because the game's broke. It's an uncompetitive cheese fest. And that's what it was last year, unfortunately. So I'm going to be doing a lot of videos. When the game comes out, I'll be talking a lot about it. I would plan to stream again on Twitch. I haven't streamed on Twitch in forever. I'm debating on how I'm going to do that. We'll see. But you have seen me play it over there. Saw me play it a little bit over at Twitch. This past year, earlier in the year when the game more so was first out, but I kind of fell off it and just played it offline, certainly considering what I was doing when I was growing this channel. But I'm going to be playing it a lot, and we'll see. I'm going to grill it like shit because I think, and the reason why I'm grilling it is because, you know, it has a chance to be good. It has elements that make sense, that are creative, that when I was thinking 10 years ago, damn, it'd be cool if they did this, they have done that. They've created a fucking a circuit where you can have 5 of your bros go against 5 other folks in what is supposed to be a basketball simulator based on a character that you personally have created and grinded upon. So it has that MMO RPG element. So it has the elements that I like out of MMOs. I play a lot of those, but also it's a sport, right? So it has the strategy element, while also being supposedly a competitive basketball game. So this is why I'm like, look, fix it. Because if you fix it, I praise it. I have no problem praising it. And this, if you consider the character creation, if they address the gameplay, it has a chance to be the best basketball game ever. But it's not, so as long as you got yes men, and so as long as they are making games, putting out half-ass products, worrying about other shit, events and other stupid shit, cosmetics, other than the actual core gameplay. So for those, this is a long-winded video. I planned it. It was going to be that way. But for those who are looking forward to that sort of NBA 2K content, expect from me I'm not going to give you the goofy-ass videos. I'm not going to be giving you a whole lot of tutorial. I will give you some videos. Just don't get me wrong. I'm still fucking good at the game. I'm going to give you some of that stuff, but my main focus, my primary focus is surrounding the gameplay and the competitive nature of Pro-Am. I will exclude, unless they want to make part, which they could, I would mind that. Me and my buddy KT was talking about that. We're talking about, like, why are there different sliders on different games? Like, you can make the dumbest shots on on the part that you can't make in a pro-am because of different sliders. Why don't they make the most competitive sliders ever? But I get it. It's all about inclusiveness. So you want people that aren't really good at the game to be able to get some sort of fun out of it. And that's what it seems like the route that it's going with Park. And I'm okay with that to an extent. I would rather it just be competitive all around. But I'm okay with that if the what is supposed to be the most competitive part of your game is actually good and the gameplay is solid. So expect a lot of gameplay related commentary surrounding NBA 2K20. I will talk about the character that I'm building and so forth. I'm not going to give everything away, but and certainly none of this shit matters. I want to be clear that a lot of this shit doesn't matter until we start playing consecutive games in the Pro-Am. We could talk about how good the character creation, how genius it is and all that, how much fun we're having offline playing my career and stuff like that, but we really won't know. I won't know how good this game is until I play like a good sample size of 20 games in the Pro-Am with my bros, and then I'll be able to say, okay, this is a problem, this is good, this is bad. So expect a lot of gameplays-based commentary, and I'll see you then.